Welcome to another edition of GSC's Digital Network Update Show presented by Florida's Space Coast. Remember, you can head to visitspacecoast.com to learn more about a vacation to remember.
This is Chris Bino, offensive guard at Shorter University. Be sure to watch the Hawks this Thursday live on ESPN3 or the Watch ESPN app.
Welcome to another edition of GSC Digital Network's weekly update shows. I'm Jim Cavall. We have some non-conference gridiron action to start off with. But first, when it comes to the gridiron, let's talk about conference action, as we have two teams facing off this week in Game 7 of Florida's Space Coast GSC on ESPN3 package. That is going to be an exciting one. Number 2, West Georgia, moved into a first-place tie with number 13, North Alabama, at 3-0. As UWG won at number 15, Delta State, 28-7, while UNA breezed past the non-conference foe I mentioned before in UNC Pembroke, 62-28. There will be just one team atop the standings after this week, though. North Alabama will head to Carrollton, Georgia, to take on the University of West Georgia on Saturday. This is Game 7, once again, of this amazing GSC on ESPN3 package that Florida Space Coast has brought you this season. And it is going to be a showdown to remember. So make sure you tune in for that telecast. Florida Tech found itself in sole possession of second place after running its winning streak to 3 via a 34-7 triumph at in-region non-conference SIAC member Fort Valley State. FIT's defense held FVSU scoreless until 4:18 was remaining in the game, while the offense rolled up 477 total yards. The GSC wrapped up its list of non-conference games with a 22-6 overall record and a 16-3 mark against Division II teams. UWA running back Javai Swindle became the school's all-time leading rusher with 2,220 yards now, while SU's BJ McCoy ran for a career-high 210 yards in the matchup against the Tigers. Valdosta State put the brakes on a 2-game skid thanks to a 34-7 home triumph over Mississippi College. VSU's first conference victory of the season was spearheaded by its defense, which brought a shutout into the final 15 minutes and allowed just 69 yards in passing in this game. GSC championships in other fall sports are shaping up quite nicely. Men's and women's cross country will be on Saturday, October 24th, as the men's 8K start time is at 9 a.m. Central, while the women's 5K start time is approximately 30 minutes after the men's race. This year it'll be at the Oakville Indian Mounds course in Danville, Alabama. You can find directions and more details on the Championships tab at the GSC website, gscsports.org. Meanwhile, men's and women's soccer will match up in their conference championships starting on Tuesday, November 3rd and ending on the 6th and 8th of November, as the number 1 seed will host the championships. Tell you what, it is going to be very interesting when it comes to men's and women's soccer championships. When you look at the men's standings right now, the University of Alabama Huntsville is 7-1 in GSC play, but right behind them at 6-1-1 is West Alabama. Lee University is now number 15 national rankings, and they're 5-0-1 in conference play. Two teams after that at 3-3 are Christian Brothers and Shorter. The first 3 teams I mentioned, UAH, UWA, and Lee, all have clinched a spot in the men's soccer championships. Meanwhile, on the women's side, number 23 nationally ranked West Alabama leads the way in the women's soccer standings at 8-1 in conference play. 1 game behind them is Lee at 7-2. Mississippi College is 6-1-2. North Alabama is at 6-2, and then West Florida rounds out the top 5 in the women's soccer standings at 5-3. Only West Alabama has clinched a spot thus far in the postseason. Once again, you can go to the Championships tab to find out more details on the GSC Men's and Women's Soccer Championships, or click on the Women's Soccer or Men's Soccer tab. You can find out more details on what's going on in these standings. Finally, volleyball for the women 6 teams will qualify. It'll be at campus sites. And then Tuesday, November 17th, the 3 and 4 seeds will match up. While Saturday and Sunday, November 21st and 22nd, the number 1 seed will host the championships. Right now, it's West Florida leading the way. They are hot when it comes to women's volleyball action. UWF is now number 20 in the country in the latest American Volleyball Coaches Association Division II Top 25 rankings. But they did go 2-2 over the past week as they went 1-2 over the weekend at South Region crossover, defeating Sunshine State Conference opponent Barry, falling to number 15 Florida Southern and number 17 Palm Beach Atlantic. This, of course, doesn't hurt them in conference action, but little insight to how they're doing overall. You can get caught up in all that is going on in these fall sports for the Gulf South Conference, and you can get news, notes, stats, highlight standings right on the GSC website. Just go to gscsports.org. Once again, for everybody at the Gulf South Conference, I'm Jim Cavale. I urge you Saturday evening to check out what will be an amazing telecast on the GSC on ESPN television package that we've put together for the Gridiron via Florida's Space Coast. It is going to be a matchup to remember between 2 nationally ranked opponents and 2 undefeated squads in GSC play between UNA and West Georgia. Check it out this weekend, and we'll be back next week with another edition of GSC Digital Network's Weekly Update Show.
Hey, this is Will Johnson, tight end at Valdosta State University. Watch the Blazers this Thursday live on ESPN3 or the Watch ESPN app.
We'd like to thank our friends at Florida's Space Coast for presenting each week's update on the GSC Digital Network. And until next time, I'm Jim Cavale, and this has been your GSC Digital Network Update.